Hi all, welcome back to my channel. So I hope you guys are doing well. So today I have Saptarshi with me. So hi Saptarshi, how are you?
Yeah, hi Audrey. I'm fine. And what about you?
Yeah, I'm also fine. So you have already shared your experience, how you joined ISI, what was your preparation strategy, and people liked it a lot. So I have again invited you from in my channel to share like how is your journey. So it's been like 2 years. You're currently at final year. So how is your journey at ISI?
Okay. So it's been a pleasure to me. So a lot of audience of your channel has liked my journey and experience that I have shared earlier in the channel. So it's been a really, really great pleasure. Yeah, so as you were saying that I'm in the verge of ending my journey of ISI. Yeah, it's been a quite a bit hectic 2 years, I'd rather say, and a roller coaster journey in the ISI. Like when I started with a huge amount of aspirations and a huge amount of motivation that I'm going to study in ISI, one of the best colleges in India. So it's been a best college, one of the best colleges in India. But the thing is that there is always pressure when you want to and when you want to pursue your career in the field of mathematics, statistics, and machine learning. So I didn't expect that it could be so challenging to me because the professors in ISI, the entire culture, the entire environment is ISI is absolutely mathematics and statistics oriented. So whenever you try to mold up anything, any of your thoughts process, you have to express yourself mathematically. Otherwise, the professor won't hear to you. So yeah, it's been a challenging 2 years for me, but it's been a 2 years where I have learned the best part of my life, the best, the one of the best, not one of the most of the best knowledges that I have gathered are mainly in these 2 years, and it's kind of indelible 2 years, I'd rather say.
Okay. So can you tell me about what is the like placement scenario, the internships and all?
Sure. So basically, I'd say the culture of internship and placement is not very much similar to the IITs that you see. Because I'm not saying from the perspective of the salary, but I'll be clear when I explain the entire thing process. So mainly in case of IITs or triple IITs, what happens, even for BTech or MTech, it doesn't matter. So most of the companies that come for IITs or triple IITs are mainly for the software development role or the full stack development role. So but the thing is that in ISI, we, as the name suggests, that it is a statistical institute, and most of the people over here come over here to pursue their career in data science. But there are 5 streams available if you want to do your MTech in computer science. So there are 5 specializations available. Like the first one being the data science itself, and the others are you can do your specialization in theoretical computer science. You can do your specialization in systems, where you have to deal with a lot of operating systems and a lot of system oriented design and all the other stuffs. You can do your specialization in quantum computing, as well as you can do your specialization in cryptology. So there is a separate course called MTech in cryptology, but even if you pursue your career in MTech computer science, you can do your specialization in cryptology. So having said that, most of the people over here are, as you already know, that there is a buzz around all the age group of us, that the machine learning and the data science is the new genre, new age. So the most of the people are mainly data science and machine learning oriented. And yeah, there is a lot of reason behind that, because machine learning and data science is all about statistics. So if you there is a famous meme that if you take off the mask from the Scooby Doo picture, so if you take off the mask from the machine learning, it's basically statistics inside. Like having said that, as we are mainly focusing on statistics, so the data science opportunities and the machine learning engineer opportunities are more frequent in ISI. So as I was one of the placement coordinators of ISI, student placement coordinators, I can give you a first-hand experience of how the internship and the placement looks like. I'd first of all, I'll say that most of the companies, if you say 90% of the companies, will come for the data scientist or machine learning engineer or applied scientist or quant researcher role. So it's a bit different from the software development or the full stack development engineer roles in ISI. And I'll talk about more later.
Okay, now it's come to like your placement. So, what you have got, or have you completed any internship because you are already in your final year?
Oh, yes. So basically, to start with, I'd rather say, as a lot of you have a lot of followers in LinkedIn as well as in YouTube. So I would take this opportunity to invite a lot of candidates to ISI, because ISI is still a little known name in the midst of the MTech pursuing MTech interested students. But still, I get a lot of requests about how the experience of ISI and what are the placement scenarios. So I'll take this opportunity to say that ISI has a dedicated placement scenario, placement drive, and also they offer you 2 months to 3 months internship during the semester gap of second and third semester. So you will have an entirely dedicated 3 months for this kind of internship. So coming back to my internship experience, like we have all the on-campus internships. So mainly companies are called to campus, either in online mode or offline mode. So they took our interviews, followed by some. So initially there was some screening round and followed by some interview round. So they will select you, and the entire thing is on campus. So like what we call as the on-campus internship or on-campus placement, right? So yeah, I got an internship luckily into Uber, which is one of the heaviest startups. Like, I'm not say it a startup, but it is still considered as a startup. So I got into Uber as a data scientist intern, and I completed the internship for 3 months. And I was doing the internship in the month of June 2022, I guess. Yeah, 2022. So there was a lot of work from home culture going on till then, like in 2022. So the most of them, the 1.5 month of my internship was from home, and the other 1.5 month was at Bangalore office itself.
Okay. So when you name that Uber and you have cracked Uber as intern, so we all know it's really hard to crack. So if I ask you, like, how was your interview experience, and most importantly, how you prepared? So can you share those things?
Yeah, sure. So basically, as I said, that this is a on-campus internship drive. So mainly so Uber was one of the very initial companies which were called in our campus. So it was one of the first companies, I would rather say. I'm not reveal the exact position or the date Uber was called. It was beyond my scope to reveal that. So yeah, as you said, that it is one of the hardest companies to crack, and similarly, its compensation and the stipend is also very lucrative. Coming to the interview and like the process of interview or the process of the drive, I would say. So the first process was basically an SQL and the programming round. So the first round was taken in a Uber's own platform. I forgot the name of the platform. So it was basically 3 SQL questions and 1 mathematics question. So all you have to do it within 1 hour. Okay. And so you can use you have to use the relational SQL, not no SQL is not allowed. So you have to do it either in MySQL or PostgreSQL, something like this. So there was 3 questions with increasing level of difficulty. So the initial question and the numbers allocated for each of those questions were also proportional to the level of difficulty they were offered. So the first question was quite easy. You can do it within 5 to 10 minutes. And the second question was a bit medium, I would say. And the third question was the toughest of all those 3. I would not say it was a very tough question, but it was toughest among those 3. So I would say rather rank them. The first one has 4 out of 10. The second one could be 6 out of 10, and the third one can be 7 to 8 out of 10. So the level of difficulty. So this was the SQL round, and after there was a very easy mathematics question which you can easily solve if you have done any kind of JEE Mains or JEE advanced level preparation, or if you want to get into ISI, you have to be very much familiar with the mathematics, and if you are familiar with that level of mathematics, that question will be very much reviewed. So yeah, having done that, so as I told that Uber was one of the first companies. So almost all our batch mates were into the selection initial screening round, and out of those only 14 were selected. 14 were selected for the next rounds. So the next rounds were for two interview rounds. One was a technical round, and the second one was a techno-managerial round. So the first technical round was taken by one of the applied scientists of Uber, Avinav Shandilla. So he was one of the coolest guy I have ever met. So after I joined Uber, I heard that he was one of the toughest guys. He was one of the stubborn guy who don't give you the consent to crack your interview. So I felt quite lucky enough that I cracked his interview round. So it was mainly a technical round, which was mainly tested based on firstly SQL, and secondly some Python coding. One DSA coding was given in Python, and some other theoretical stuffs of Python, like what are the difference between list and tuples, and what are the generators, what are decorators, this kind of thing. And one DSA question was there, and he shared an Excel sheet with me, which contains some details of the schema of a table, and I have to query a little bit from there. So that is it for the first round. And the second round was mainly a techno-managerial round, and it was taken by the manager of data science, who was the Pavan Kumar, and he was also one of the coolest guys. So he basically started with my paper. So I had a research paper in my resume. So yeah, so that resume, so he first went through my resume, and he asked me to explain a bit about my paper. So he got quite interested about my paper, and almost a 15 to 20-minute discussion was only about that paper. So after that, he gave me a case study, which was a very real life case study, which was very much associated with Uber's day-to-day functionalities. And I have to deal with the case study and come up with some solutions of how I can solve the problem. So basically, it was a problem that Uber faced on a day-to-day basis, and it was a very big question. So at first, but the main rule of thumb of the case study based question is that you have to ask a lot of questions, and you have to gather as much as data as possible from your interviewer. So after asking a lot of questions, I got a complete picture of what he's trying to ask me, and what kind of solutions he's expecting from me. And this was mainly the case study based round. After that, he just asked me about some kind of behavioral questions, which is quite a bit managerial questions, I'd say. And yeah, that is, these are the 2 rounds that I have.
Okay. So, and as you mentioned, once you got selected, you joined Uber for 3 months, and first up was mostly work from home, and then you went in Bangalore. So how was your experience at Uber? Because before joining ISI, you have also worked in a service-based company. So you can also relate like how things are different, or what is your experience that you may share?
Okay, before joining to ISI, I was in a service-based company, as you said. But the period of my 9 months when I was in a service-based company was completely work from home. So I couldn't get the chance to be in the office of that service-based company. So I can't actually compare between these two, because because the 1.5 month of Uber was my first office experience, in office experience. So I can't just compare with anything else, but I can tell you my first hand experience there. So it was in Bangalore Sarjapur office, and like it was one of the best 1.5 months that I have spent ever in my life. So the Uber Bangalore office was like one of the coolest places, and I haven't been in any kind of product-based companies or product-based companies office till date, except Uber. But don't having not compared with any other things, I would say that it is one of the best places, because the one of the best perks in Uber was that it has free food. So not much company will give you the free food opportunity, but Uber had 3 times a day free food. So I was in a PG when I just went to Bangalore. So I but the Bangalore PG food is quite a lot uneatable kind of stuff. So I used to wake up early in the morning, and I left my PG, because the office generally starts at 10 or 10:30. So but I used to reach the office at about 9:30 or before 10, so that I can enjoy the food or the breakfast on my own. So it was a buffet kind of stuff, and I'd say anything or everything that you want to eat, it will be present in the desk. So starting from bread, starting from boiled egg, sausages, any kinds of fruits, muffins, all those things were there in the Uber breakfast. This is the breakfast. And then in lunch, I would say it was kind of a marriage ceremony menu. So everything that you can expect there will be in the menu of in Uber's lunch. So starting from chapatis, rotis, parathas, and then some vegetables, vegetable kind of curries, then followed by some uh, rices. There are two, three kinds of rices were there also, and the chicken curries, fish curries, all of this kind of stuffs, and followed by some desserts, amazing desserts. So these are the quite amazing stuffs about the lunch and breakfast. And there was also some live counters where you can enjoy foods. And also there was a fridge. I remember there was a fridge where you can take soft drinks, not hard drinks. So you can take the soft drinks anytime you want. And there was also a PA station, so you can play video games whenever you want to. So there was quite amazing office.
Okay. So it was really
Yeah. So I just went on to explain my lunch and the breakfast journey, but I couldn't explain about my work and the people out there. So the people's also the team I was with in the 3 months, the people of those team were quite amazing. So it was a team of I guess it was a team of 7 people, 7 to 8 people, and all of them were hugely supporting. So so it was a kind of a desk, so where we used to sit, and I was there in beside of a senior data scientist. So whenever I got stuck in some SQL queries, or when I get stuck in any kind of PySpark codes, or any kind of inference, I just used to ask him, the senior data scientist, just a bit, and he used to explain me everything, starting from where I am stuck, why I am stuck, and how, what are the details that I need to know about that. Everything he used to tell me. So not only he, so all of the member of the team. And so I was assigned a mentor also. So she used to tell me like how I need to prepare myself, what I need to learn.
So, would you like to mention like what was the stipend amount?
Uh, so basically, I'm not supposed to disclose the exact figure that I got as stipend because of the non-disclosure form that I shared with, signed with Uber also, and due to the ISI policies as well, I am not used to allowed to share that. But what I can share is that it is exactly so what I have learned when I was working. So it is exactly the same amount of money that I got used to get in hand during my 3 months. It is exactly the same money that a data scientist one at Uber gets. So that is why I told earlier that they treated me exactly as a same team member. So other companies, there is a tendency that gives some less money to the intern and get the work done with them. But it is a great initiative, or I would say like it's a great uh, gesture by Uber, that they are paying the exact same money that their actual employer, the data scientist one, is getting to the data scientist intern as well. And it's quite a lot of money. I wouldn't have thought that I would get this huge amount of money in my 3 months of internship. So you can go to Glassdoor and see what the exact figures are.
Okay. So as you shared all of your like experience, so my final question would be like how you prepared. I know it was on campus, but still you had to prepare a lot of things. As you mentioned, there were SQL, mathematics, question from DSA, Python related questions. So how you prepared, and what will be your tips for my viewers and for all who are targeting this data scientist role?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, I was there at the time the internship was like interviewed. I was there in my second semester, so I didn't get much time. Not second semester. I was in the first semester, so I didn't get much time to prepare in a very focused way, I would say. But whatever I had gained in my PTech, I used that kind of stuff. But after getting into ISI, like I one of the best thing that happened to me, I got a boost in my confidence. So when I'll give the tips to your audience, I would mention the points, but I would say, like, first of all, the SQL is one of the biggest tools for a data scientist. So you have to be very much familiar with SQL, and a lot of intermediate to advanced level of SQL, like the subquery, the correlated subqueries, the window functions. This kind of things you must be very aware of when you are applying for any kind of data scientist or data scientist internally. And now coming to the second part of the programming. So this was a query language, and coming to the programming language. So the programming language is generally not a burden for the developer role, but if you are applying for a data scientist role, all of the things are mainly done either in Python or in R. A lot of industry and the companies use Python itself, and there are some handful of companies who are mainly focusing on statistical analysis. They generally use R, but Python is obviously your go-to language if you are focusing for data scientist. Now coming to the DSA preparation, I'd say if you are mainly focusing for the data scientist role, there isn't much need for the DSA. Much need, I would say, not extensive need as you should be preparing if you are preparing for an SG role. Not that much of DSA preparation is needed. but still a little bit of awareness, a little bit of dynamic programming, a little bit of greedy programming, greedy paradigm, and array manipulation, string manipulation, matrix manipulation. This kind of stuff must be known to you, and you have to be very much familiar with the Python interface, because Python, not only the list and tuples and dictionaries, but you have to be familiar with how a generator works, why a generator should you use, why should you use a generator over a list, and why should you use a decorator. These kind of things you should be very much familiar with. And yeah, these are the things. Actually, I was not asked any kind of questions on any kind of libraries or frameworks. Like I was not asked, I was not tested on PyTorch or TensorFlow at that time, because I was interning. I was giving an interview for an intern itself. But I had to work on. I had to work with the Python causal ML library, because my work was on causal inference. So if you are applying for the intern, you don't need to be very much aware of the TensorFlow or this PyTorch, this kind of high level stuffs. But your basic DSN knowledge, basic SQL knowledge, basic analytical knowledge, and basic Python knowledge will suffice. And obviously, you have to be very much aware with the statistical knowledge of machine learning. So the machine learning models, you should be knowing them from statistical perspective, optimization perspective, and also from the mathematical perspective. Yeah. So this is my preparation strategy, and my final tips towards all your audience should be like, you have to be very much confident whenever you are giving the interview, because they don't know you. The interviewer don't know you. What they know is that you are in front of them, and whatever you know, you have to be very much expressive in front of them. So even if you are very much very shy person, which is me, but you don't need to show that shyness during that 1 hour. You have to be very much expressive. Whatever you think in your mind, you have to convey that with your words itself. Because I would suggest you one thing. Like when I was doing the SQL query in my first round of interview, what I was thinking in my mind, I was also delivering in my words. So if I'm thinking that I should do a group by, I should do a group by with having, I was explaining that why should I do a group by with having. This kind of things I was explaining them. So it's a good practice if you are very much sound with your mind. Yeah, that is the second tip. And the third tip is that whenever you are stuck with something, whenever you stuck with some concept that you have been asked, don't lag that. Don't extend that very further. Just directly tell them that you don't know that one, and you need to study further on that one. So that will express that you are fair enough with your study, and whatever you don't know is all right, because all the data scientists also do some googling before whatever code they write. So it's not it's absolutely fine that you don't know something, but try to be honest whatever you don't know, and try to be honest whatever you know. So whatever you know, you should be knowing them in depth. And that is the main funda of any interview.
Okay. So thank you, Saptarshi, for coming to my channel and sharing all these tips and preparation strategies and all your journey. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, Annabi.
Yeah.
It was a great pleasure to me, and I would like to be a participant in your podcast in further time also.
Yeah, sure.